Morning. All right, this morning I wanted to talk about, what is this? This one? No, this is the Seahawks one. Got a brand new shirt today. Well, wearing my new shirt today with my matching shorts that go with it here. From UNCW, beach volleyball. Anyways, in the house, woo-woo. Which I was gonna be talking about here, recording stuff. UVA men's won the cup last night. They officially got announced in ESPYs, which is cool, which is basically male. The women's was Stanford, won NCAA Program of the Year, and men's was UVA, which is where my son goes, which is really cool. One of my friends is a good coach there. Anyways, back on topic, I was excited about that. It's exciting to watch the ESPYs and see kind of like all that's going on and the way that people are using sports. A lot of the big messages last night, as Bill Russell was won the Arthur Ashe Award, which is incredible. Got goosebumps just thinking about that. And then just a lot of the women that were on there, female athletes, were talking about using their accomplishments to give them a space and a platform to talk about female, not just female rights, but just really, what's going on in the world, of the way that the world is, treats our females, which isn't the most wonderful thing. And I'm not going to get into that, but because that wasn't what I was going to talk about. What I was going to talk about actually is something different. What I was going to talk about is one of my favorite quotes from Tony Robbins brings it to light, which is, if a life is worth doing, it's worth recording. And what he was talking about was, he was talking about journaling. And the reason why I held up this wasn't to talk about UVA men's sports program just killing it this last year, but it was about the iPad and about recording. And I don't just mean through video or through pictures, but also journaling. And also you could have a video journal of, or you could have a blog or a vlog or whatever. You could be communicating to other people, or a lot of times these blogs are actually from people that are they're just basically putting their journal out there. And what it's about is that so many of the great people over time. I remember a quote from Richard Branson, the owner of Virgin Airways, and all the, just so many different things he's done. It's incredible. He was talking about basically, hey, if he hadn't written down his ideas, he'd be nowhere, and that was what he was talking about, journaling. And so we hear about people like Ben Franklin. I think one of his quotes was, if you're not reading about something that was incredible, then you should be writing about something that's incredible, or you should be doing something incredible enough to write about. It was something along those lines. But the point is, there's huge opportunities when you record things, because you can review what they were. You can review the attachments between what you thought happened and what actually happened, especially if it's a video. And people love journaling. The problem is we get held up sometimes with our attachments to it. Like, maybe we were told that we had to write stuff down when we were a kid and we didn't like that. Or we were told we had to read stuff when we were a kid and we didn't like that. Or we didn't like the person who was telling it to us, or the fact that we didn't feel like we had a choice, we had to do it. But you chose whether or not you did or didn't. So take ownership for that, and stop giving somebody else away your life. Take ownership of it. So that being said, if you start getting clear on what you want and the key performance indicators of that, you can start tracking how they're impacting your life and how you can mess around with some of the circumstances and some of the setups so that you can optimize that. It's not just, it's understanding the formula, like a chef. Like, if a chef sits down and they make something that's incredible, a dish, but they didn't write down the recipe, they may never be able to do that again. So it's not going to be able to be scientific. And a lot of the things that are scientific have not just to do with the thoughts and the ingredients from a physical standpoint, but sometimes it has to do with the way that we felt going into it. What did we do before that in advance? Were we hydrated? Did we get enough sleep? All these other things. And when you're recording this stuff and you're journaling and you're able to review it, you're able to optimize your ability to reproduce that again, or maybe even make it better. And so the idea behind journaling, the reason why I'm mentioning it today, is because it's so critical to your development and your growth. If you're really trying to do something to the best of your ability to experience the greatest experience and joy in it, then you really need to give yourself the best chance by understanding what are the mission critical things that you need to do and need to get better at, and then make it a habit of doing those things every day, a practice of doing those things every day, and recording at least as small and as to the point and specific and efficiently and effectively as possible, so that you can communicate to yourself what you did or what you didn't do and how you thought you did. And if you recorded it via video, then it's going to be able to be easy to review for you, but also to communicate to other people so that they can see too, and you can get some impact on that and some feedback on that so that you can take action on that. And that's the idea. It's not just to write down because it feels good, but eventually it will feel good because you'll start to make that connection in your brain, the thought and the feeling together. Boom, that's where power is. And once you start to record not just what you did, but also what it felt like, record the senses as it related to it, then you'll start to heighten the experience. One of the quotes that I love the most, Jim Quick would talk about, as you learn something, if you teach it to somebody else, you get to learn it twice, and then that starts to build that exponential growth, that compound effect. And the thing is, it's not just what you teach, but also what you share. It's the same thing when you share something. Teaching is sharing. So when you share something, like even if it's sharing with yourself, and this is the weird thing, but it compounds that effect. That's why people love to post pictures and record their memories on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all these other sharing sites, social sites. It is for them, but at the same time, it's that sharing that heightens the experience. And we're not going to get into the whole social component of that, other than the fact that it's something that you can use to your advantage. Now, I'm not saying to share your journal. I'm not saying that at all. That's what I'm saying is to share that with yourself. But if you have a coach or somebody else that's helping you in a particular area, then this journal can be helpful. And you don't need to have, you can have a journal for everything, or you can have journals for specific things. It's completely up to you, whatever's gonna work for you. If you have specific outcomes you're looking for in specific areas, then you probably should have a specific journal where you just write about that. One of the things that I'm thinking of immediately, as soon as I say specificity, I start thinking about the gentleman that did the free solo, Alex, and he was talking about his climbing journal, and one of his climbing partners and companions was like, hey, do you ever write about blah, blah, blah in your journal? And he's like, no, it has nothing to do with climbing. And he was just matter of fact, but it was just, that's not what it was for. That wasn't the purpose for him. So he had it really compartmentalized. And because of that specificity, he was able to get more out of those things, because he knows he's only looking for, X when he's in that area. He's not looking for X, Y, and Z. And so knowing the difference and being able to keep it that way and to keep that organization allows for way more effective and efficient execution. And if you don't have that clarity in your life, it's going to be difficult to try to execute on things at the highest level because there's too much overlay. The funny thing is, one of the people that I like to learn from the most, she recently had a bunch of different changes go on in her life. She's incredibly effective, efficient, and very creative as well. And she executes, she has children, all these other things. The funny thing about her is the fact that she used to celebrate kind of doing all these different things and honestly kind of almost not being organized and being able to operate on the fly. And then recently she's made changes to get more organized because it's no longer suiting her persona to operate that way. She realized what she was missing out on by not being more organized and structuring her life so that she prioritizes herself and her family first, which is interesting because how will she address that when she maybe watches some of her old podcasts or something along those lines? And the same thing goes for you. Just you should allow yourself the ability to let go of whatever it was that you said or did before, because you're now in a new space, you're a new person, you have new events and you have new opportunities. And so with that new information, you can take a new course of action and you can let go of your past. You don't have to carry it with you. It's not necessary for you to defend a decision you made a day ago, a week ago, a month ago. You were a different person. You didn't know what you do know now. So with what you know now, give yourself the greatest opportunity for success and enjoy more of life and greater experiences, and do that through journaling. And I hope that you remember this and take action today.